no doubting that Streets of Tarkov is one of the most beautiful maps and also one of the most stacked maps in terms of high tier loot. One thing's for sure, it's also one of the most challenging maps to extract from. That's why I put together this loot guide, which is incredibly low risk with huge potential for high rewards. Avoiding the hotspots means you'll get out more often, and you'll come out with a backpack full of high tier loot to get rich in Tarkov. In order to survive more often, I'm going to recommend taking the low risk route around the outskirts of the map. Working in the bottom left hand corner where crash site is, we can go around the back of the hotel building and stick around the industrial area before the taxi. Passing the taxi, going into the estate agents, underneath by the cinema, down by relaxation room, through to the academy, across the front of the mall, into Beluga restaurant, and then round the back into the med block facing Terror Group. Sticking to this outside of the map is definitely the way to go. Most of the action takes place in and around Lexos and the Check 15 building. So we're going to pick up the video on this corner here, and we're going to do an offline raid to show you, as we work through this industrial area, some of the loot spawns that are available. Heading down through the back of here, some must not miss loot spots just by the taxi. You know, definitely a good chance to pick up some good ammo, etc. And then we're going to head down this way, pop into the real estate office, make sure we don't miss the loot that's in there. On from there into the clothing store where there's two PCs which I've pulled so many GPUs from, and then the hidden Bitcoin spawn that seemingly nobody knows about. Down to relaxation room. I'm sure if you've watched any loot guide at all, you'll be familiar with the relaxation room. And then we'll head to the academy. Column tie can spawn here, but I'm including it because the amount of loot I've pulled out of just that academy office is insane. In fact, there's a full video just on that building, top right hand corner. Then into Beluga, the toy store next to Beluga, a few spots that I'll show you there. And then finally heading to the med block behind the back of the mall, which is facing Terror Group. And then we'll finish just by this tram here. Now, I'm taking you through an offline raid, and the loot's always going to be far worse in offline as it would be a live online raid. So I'm going to follow that with a online raid covering a portion at least of the loot run that I'm going to go over, and we'll see how the loot compares. There's also a very interesting ending, so make sure you stick around to the end, and I want to see some reactions in the comments. You know, take the mick out of me, do whatever, but the ending's an interesting one, that's for sure. So here we are on the straight down the Lexus on the left, and then this is the industrial area I was talking about. This I'm going to say slept on. No matter early raid, late raid, I tend to go in here and it's not been touched, which is interesting because there's normally some good tech spawn down here in this crate. Don't miss these. Another interesting one is if you jump on top of this box here, you do get a decent view, and if you know, if you're about the rat life, then maybe you can exploit that. There's normally a weapon crate here, not spawned due to dynamic loot. There is one here, however. If you're looking for weapons, I'm sure you'll make sure to loot those. But inside this compound is what's really slept on. Now, you're going to hear me say this a lot. This is an offline raid, so it's almost as if the loot just doesn't populate in offline raids. Certainly not to the same degree as an online raid. There's a Bitcoin spawn up here. Never miss checking this. I've pulled so many Bitcoins off this table. Always check for Bitcoins on that table. There's normally a black weapon box there, which hasn't spawned. There's toolboxes, loose loot, tech loot all around this area. Again, offline raids haven't spawned. What I would say is make sure you go through this area and have a good look around. There is lots of loot spawns and very, very rarely have they been looted. You'll tend to find good ammo dotted around the boxes I just checked there, and then also these on the right. So much good ammo to pick off of the ground on streets. There's an abundance of 5.56, 5.45. Sometimes you get some 7.62, but an absolute abundance of 5.56 and 5.45. There's a toolbox there. Here's one of the ammo crates that you can search. I pretty much always get good ammo from this. There you go. 5.56A1. Cannot complain at that. Coming down here. I intend to do a video just on this real estate office. It does seem to have maybe come down a little bit of late, but I've pulled some great stuff out of here. Normally a loose tech spawn on the boardroom table, duffels, you've got the 3 filing cabinets here, and then this room up here, which is the real estate office key, I think. Spawn on the floor there. There's a spawn on the table by that laptop. There's 2 spawns on this desk. There's one in the corner on the floor, one by the mug, and then another spawn on this desk. I've pulled so many bitcoins, Tetrises, you name it. I've pulled it from that room. It's definitely worth checking. Tech spawns on each of the tables, so check, because again, Tetrises can spawn. And there's a duffel just underneath the window. We're talking about tech spawns. I don't know why. Maybe this is a coincidence. Maybe this is just something that I feel I've looted more often because I found them on the first time. But I always, and I mean always, if I'm passing this side of the map, go into this clothing store, check these 2 PCs. I have pulled so many GPUs out of these PCs. I don't know if they've got a much higher spawn chance, but I have pulled at least 10 GPUs from these PCs alone this wipe. In here, there's a Bitcoin spawn that I've pulled a few times on the counter here. There's also on the counter the other side. So just here, and then you have the med box as well. I've been in here right at the end of just leaving the raid, had a quick check. There's been a Bitcoin on the table. If you're passing it, check it. And if you're going to do this loot run, you might as well always pass and check the counter for a Bitcoin. Now, probably quite surprised to see the Hive being included in a low risk, high return loot run. The reason I've included it is because of how often you can pull Bitcoins and things that you can secure in your container. Now, it is a bit of a risk that you've got windows here. Lots of people can camp you. Some people don't know about the safe outside. This usually does, provide gold spawn plus a diary. I've pulled intels and things like that out of this pretty often. I like sitting on top of the van I just pointed out there, so just be careful of anyone maybe doing the same. The Hive, there's lots of spawns. Check every sofa, every couch, every chair, okay? There will be Bitcoins, there'll be Veritas picks, there will be GP coins, there'll be things that are hidden that you can't see unless you've got really high attention and you're able, perception, and you're able to get the little white dot on your screen to tell you there's something there. Moonshines, vodkas, whiskies, all those things spawn on the tables, so don't run through as quick as I have here. Check every corner of every sofa. Now, what's kind of not checked as often as it should, these 2 spawns here. The one under the stairs and then the one by the trash bags. So many sugars. Again, on this desk in here, I've pulled sugars off the desk. Sugars on the floor here. Sugars again. And then moonshine just on the side. Sugars are 100k a piece right now. You can afford not to pick them up. It's easy money, and if you're not going to sell them or they get bricked, put them in your container, Use them for your moonshine in the hideout. So worth, going and trying to find sugar alone. If you want me to do a video on all the sugar spawns that I'm aware of, then drop a comment down below. We'll look to maybe do a sugar spawn video. Into the academy, I've done a full video on this particular room here. This room is insane. Surprise, surprise, during this offline run, nothing spawns. But this is absolutely one of the best keys in the game. I think the return on my loot run was something like 15 mil. So the key cost less than 20k and it returned over 15 mil of loot. Insane key, insane key. Tech spawns on the floor here. Weapon pots on top of the box that I just pointed out. And then there is a gold spawn in this bucket here. Bitcoins, rollers, skulls, eggs, you name it. If it's gold, it'll spawn in that bucket just there. There is also a spawn here. I've not seen anything for a while, but I think ravens, cats, rare items, I've seen them spawn in that corner. There's med bags, there's duffels, there's toolboxes. There's a load more loot spawns in this building outside of the academy key. If you're here, you might as well fill your bag. Okay, moving on from the academy, we're going to skip most of the mall. I'm just going to head straight to Beluga. Okay, I know I said Beluga, but definitely check the toy store. This is the way I enter the Beluga restaurant almost every single time. There's a Tetris spawn down here. There's a dead body behind the counter. Dead bodies can have all kinds of loot. I think any loot item in the game can spawn on those dead scab bodies. Always worth checking. Another at the bottom of the stairs here. And then as you go upstairs, I like to check. There's a med spawn at the top of the slide here on the left, but I've also seen Tetris and things on the floor. So just come up here, have a quick look around on the floor, and then check the med spawn on top of the steps just there. The reason I come this way is I come straight into this room that's next door here. No bullets from my 5.7 in an offline, so pull out the trusty Red Rebel. Now, this little shisha movie chill sofa room, again, there are really good gold spawns. So many bitcoins on that sofa. Check every inch of the sofa and make sure you're picking up any hidden Veritas, GP coins, bitcoins, etc. Then heading up into the Beluga director's office, which is this one here. Okay, you got high value gold spawns on the desk. I believe there's a Bitcoin spawn on the sideboard just there. And then down here on the floor, there's definitely a Bitcoin spawn. Very easy to spot that Bitcoin. It doesn't tend to go into the floor like some of them. We're nearly there. We are nearly there, okay? Eat and drink, so that get rid of that nasty hydration effect. Dehydration effect, rather. Now, the last building on this high reward, low risk run is going to be what I call the med block. Don't know what this building's actually called, but it's across from the Terror Group. It's round the back of the mall. You simply head up these steps on the right hand side. There is a quest in here. A couple of quests even. Typically you'll tend to find a stim or a gold item on the left there. And then in this back corner there's normally a gold item and a stim on those 2 points there. Come into the boardroom. Pretty sure that there is a rare spawn sort of just by the projector. There's normally some food and bits and pieces on the meeting room table itself. If you followed this and you've come out and extracted, which I expect you will because it's low risk, I'm gonna say that you'll come out with at least 1,000,000 rubles per raid. And let's say that you only survive 50% of your raids. You can pull an awful lot of money just running around the outskirts of streets, not engaged in the high PvP areas. So go and do it. Let me know how it goes. This next portion of the video I'm going to leave in. This is an online live raid. This time I've spawned outside of the academy. We're going to do a good part of this outskirts area that I'm suggesting that you loot, and there's a really interesting ending. So if you watch it to the end, I definitely want comments down below to tell me what you think and how stupid I was. But here's a better indication of what loot you will find on this run. This is a live raid, so straight away we've got the egg, we've got the raven. I'm not going to commentate through the whole of this raid because I've been doing a lot of talking. I'm just going to let you enjoy the loot, okay? So this is the ASMR loot part of this video, okay? Enjoy. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. I'll catch you in the next one. So yeah, that's how that one ended. Don't use the car extract if you don't want people to know where you are. That's the lesson to be learned. If you did make it this far into the video, you better be subscribed. If not, I'm coming for you. And if you did watch to the end, drop your favorite color in the comments. That way I know you actually watched to the end. Laters.